I never told anyone what happened to me before I visited the online hotline. I felt that it was my fault, and that no one could possibly understand how I was feeling. The online hotline made me realize that I don't have to carry around these feelings. Now I know that what happened to me is not my fault, and that I deserve to be safe.
The online hotline is very safe. RAIN has taken extra measures to ensure that your privacy is protected, and they'll even walk you through safety steps for your computer. The online hotline staff member will only know what you tell them, so you can remain completely anonymous and share as little or as much as you want to talk about.
I was afraid to talk about what happened to me out loud. By being able to use IM, it made it easier for me to reach out for help.
It was reassuring to know that I could get help on my terms. I visited the online hotline at 3 in the morning and was able to get the answers I needed to move forward and get my life back.
You don't have to go through this alone. Visit the online hotline today and be connected with anonymous and confidential help to begin on your path to recovery.
Previously, we've talked about arrested development and symptoms and both male and female and how the wounds of childhood exhibit themselves. And I think the number one, if I were to give you a number one issue that both men and women deal with when they've been wounded as a child, is the fear and the hatred of authority. That's the big one. I mean, that is the apex of the response and the reactive behavior. I don't like authority because the authority when I was a child did not protect me, and it didn't bring healing either. So here I am, I'm on my own. And so one of the ways that Life Skills works that's different than traditional therapy is that we're able to separate the behavior from the value of the core person. And we've talked earlier about we can look at undeveloped character and tell you that when the character develops, this is what you're going to be. So we have hope. But I can remember in therapy when I was going through the court-ordered class, and my therapist would get in my face and shake his fist until I could actually feel the hair on his knuckles up against my nose, and curse me and tell me that you're not going to get well. We know your type of personality, so you're not going to get well. And we know that we'll give you 2 passes through this class, and then you'll probably end up at St. Cloud or Stillwater Prison or whatever the case may be, because your personality is such that you hate authority, and even as they go over the arc and scream and yell and you're not going to make it, and they hit the negative approach. And that really irritated me, because I'd lived as a child, and most men and women, if they've been damaged in childhood, wounded in childhood, they're hearing all this stuff again and again from their home. Life commandments and things that even children say to themselves. I'm so stupid, how could I'm never going to make it, and all those things. And so we go to a professional, and we're paying money, and we hear the same thing. And what it is, it's called negative motivation, which I've researched for all these years, and negative motivation never works. All it makes me do is, okay, dude, I'll play the game. I'll tell you what you want to hear. But I'll guarantee you one thing, I'm not going to change, because I've been told I can't. And so if that be the case, then I'll get out of here and I'll con you, but there's going to be no change. And I can remember sitting in my classes with 14, 15 men, and I said to myself out loud, I just said, Hegstrom, if I ever get out of here and I ever have a chance to help anybody, men or women, kids, whatever, I'm going to do it in a different way. I will be dealing with people just like me that have been deeply wounded, and authority did not protect them. The authority didn't resolve the issues. The authority didn't know how to do anything. It's almost like children raising children, so everything is just chaos. I'm going to take a different approach. And so when I started developing the life skills program, the first thing I did was learn to separate behavior from the value of the undeveloped core. And you don't hear that phrasing in traditional or Christian counseling very much. I've never heard it and I've sat in doing practicums and working with other counselors, but I never hear that. And when they start trying to motivate them negatively, I kind of get angry. And I've got a friend that played for Green Bay Packers, and his parenting style was, you're a bad boy, you're a bad boy, you're a bad boy. And he did that through his children's early life. And then he came to life skills and found out this was a good boy that really wanted to please and really wanted to change, but daddy had been called a bad boy all his life. And so he started changing and saying, you're a good boy that did something wrong. And you did that because sometimes you don't know why or how, or because maybe I didn't give you the leadership and train you, those kind of things. And all of a sudden the complexion of his whole home changed because he was doing what he learned at life skills, that we're dealing with the behavioral problems and the mindsets of undeveloped character. So we're able to separate the character that's undeveloped from the core value of the person, which has the potential, if led, not driven. They're led into wholeness. And if we could do it ourselves, we would, but we can't. So it takes some type of leadership, some type of common ground that we can talk about. I did a counseling session yesterday, and I sat down with this man who was just devastated because he's been acting like a child, and he's almost 50 years of age and got himself in deep trouble. Lost a job that he's 10 months from retiring on, 30 years on the job. And the first thing he was expecting was that I was going to trash him and tell him how dumb and stupid he was. To be, the first thing that a person wants to say, and his own children said it to him, Dad, how could you be so stupid? And he said, I just wanted to kill myself because I've been doing stupid stuff since I was a kid. And when I got done, it took me about an hour and 15 minutes. When I got done with him, he says, for the first time in my life, I have hope. I have hope. Yes, I will come in and I'll do an intense 6-day inpatient process because you've given me hope for the first time. I've been doing these things and living a double life for all of my life since childhood. Way back to 3-4 years of age, I can remember things. See, there's a reason, but not an excuse for this kind of behavior. So we find, and I shared with him, I said, let me give you a scenario. If all things were equal, this is who you would like to be. And I looked at, I could see what he struggles with, but if he healed from that and developed character, he would be a very wonderful and he had a faith-based, godly man. But nobody has ever taken the time to develop that character. And when I got done, and he comes from a faith-based, strong faith-based, but he says, I never learned this in Sunday school. Nobody ever told me this stuff. I've never heard this in my life. And so he's coming in to do a 6-day inpatient therapy thing. And that's the approach. We have people that call in and they're scared to death. They don't know what to expect because they've had traditional therapy. They've been confronted, but the confronters have never been able to separate my core value from my behavior and that type of thing. And so with life skills, no matter what the situation, whether you're in a class, whether you're in private counseling, whether you come in for Stepping Stones, which is a 5 to 15 day series of anywhere from 8 to 16 hours a day straight through. You're always left with your honor and respect and dignity. And that makes what we do palatable to start out with and uplifting as we grow through these things. Because we're not making accusations without and identifying the diagnostics without giving help to move forward. That's the bottom line of honor, respect, and dignity.
Every 2 minutes, someone in America is sexually assaulted. The attack may last just moments, but the effects can last a lifetime. There is help through the National Sexual Assault Hotline. Call 1-800-656-HOPE or visit RAIN.org. You don't need to go it alone, and it's never too late to get help.
You have been listening to Arrested Development Ministry podcast. For more information, feedback, or to contact us, our email address is arrested.development.g51@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can look for us where you receive your podcast. Always remember, you may have been broken, but you are not beyond repair. Thank you for listening.